Hello and welcome to the Narrowboat Experience. Many of our overseas viewers get in touch with us to find out how they can cruise the UK Canal network whilst also living overseas. Today we're going to introduce you to our friend Doug, who's done just that, and he's going to share his very own narrowboat experience with you.
Hi, my name's Doug. I live on my 56-foot Liverpool boat, Cool Change. I do 6 months a year on the boat. I live in Canada in the wintertime, and I do 6 months on the canals in the UK, in England and Wales, and I have been loving every bit of it. I'd heard about narrowboats and the canals and everything from a couple of friends who've done hire boat trips, and I thought, well, that sounds like fun. It's something I always wanted to do, and I started watching videos, and Cruising the Cut was, of course, the first one that everybody kind of gets into, and then I saw your videos as you guys were getting into it, and my son said I became addicted to the videos, and that's what got me going on it. Ended up buying the boat on Facebook. It was just somebody had, I mean, I bought it through a broker and did all the correct stuff, but I basically sent my deposit without having ever touched a narrowboat or seen a canal. Being from Canada, we can do, I can do 6 months in the country with essentially no paperwork. There's no visas or immigration issues. So it's quite easy. I just show up. And the biggest part was getting the boat outfitted. It had nothing. I didn't have dishes. I didn't have cutlery. I had nothing. It was completely empty. No electronics. I had to buy knives and forks and linens and towels and tools, all the little things that you don't really think about in a home that you just have hanging around. I think I had a kettle and a Hoover vacuum cleaner. This is my second summer, so I did about 5 months last year, just under 5 months, or just around 5 months, and it'll be almost 6 full months this year on the actual boat. So it'll be 2 summers. Again, 6 months at a time without paperwork. So far, the last winter and this winter, it's come out of the water. I've found marinas that have dryland storage. 2 different ones in this case, but I pull it out of the water and put it up on the hard for the winter, just so I don't even have to think about it. It's marginally cheaper. It's really not a big difference in price, but it's something I just don't have to think about. I know that it's in a compound. It's secure. In fact, where I am this time, I could even get power and have a heater on or something, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I have met people over here on the canals that are they're lifelong friends, and we meet at a lock and we stay together for 2 or 3 days, traveling the same direction or whatever. And I had some cards made up so I can keep in touch with people, and I've made some really good friends. I think it's partly the country too. It's people come from all over the country to Narrowboat, and they're kind of ready to make friends and to meet people, both hire boaters and people that own their own boat. There's a lot to see in this country. Like it's small compared to where I'm from, so I can go almost anywhere in half a day on a train. And I know you guys don't like your train system that much, but it is bloody brilliant, as they say. We don't have that in Canada. If you don't have a vehicle, you're kind of messed up. You can't really travel. The distances are too great. Whereas here, I can go to London in 3 hours from almost anywhere. I've been to some pretty amazing places here and seen some pretty cool things. And even every little village you go to, I try to go into all the churches, the parish churches and cathedrals and stuff, because they all have some kind of a plaque or story about them, that, you know, there was a battle fought here, or such and such a queen was killed here, or whatever. Like, there's so much history. It's been a lot of fun just exploring that. I've been living quite small anyway. I have a relatively small 1-bedroom condominium apartment, and I have a place on the mountain where I ski that I live in the wintertime, and up until this year, at least, I've basically been living in a bedroom. I modified it out to be a suite, and it's way smaller than the boat. So I'm kind of used to living small, so no, this is actually pretty luxurious for me. I think the first thing is that it's easy. It's not difficult. It may look complicated, the locks and the etiquette and all that kind of stuff, but it's all happening at 3 miles an hour. Just don't take it seriously. Like people stress about little things like coming up to a bridge and suddenly another boat is coming out from under it. I mean, you guys have experienced something like this, and everybody panics and goes in reverse and everything. And if I run into the bank, I run into the bank. I think I was lucky. I started off, I don't want to say lucky, but I started off on the Canal River before I had ever driven one of these boats before, and I was going upstream on the Canal, and I got into some pretty interesting situations. So I kind of learned right off the bat that everything's fixable. Maybe going over a weir would be, not good, but other than that, almost everything you do, you run aground, you get your pole out, you push yourself off, you get sideways on the canal, you throw a line to somebody on the towpath and they pull you straight. Everything is easily fixable, and it just makes it, to me, I don't stress anymore about anything. If I figure I can deal with anything that comes along, and I think anyone else could too, because there's nothing special about me. You just do it. It's easy. Most people coming from another country would be worried about is just the general living, like how do you get groceries, how do you get water, how do you get, all that kind of stuff. And my goodness, that is the easiest thing. I mean, it's not hard to find a store almost anywhere on the system. There's a village with a shop or, you guys deliver groceries. That's brilliant. I've been getting my groceries delivered here at this marina. We don't really do much of that back home. And the water points are everywhere. And again, back to the people. If you have any questions, need any help, there's always somebody there to help you. Always. Anybody will help you with anything. Sometimes too much. I started the blog actually before I even came over here, when I was packing and planning and doing all that, called CanuckontheCut.com. And I write every couple of weeks or something. I write something about what I've been doing, or just show pictures and who's been visiting me and stuff. I have no family over here. I've made so many friends that I'm pretty active in terms of, I have a friend coming this afternoon that I met last year, and we're still friends, and they're coming by this afternoon for a visit. And it happens all the time. I've got a fellow I'm cruising with probably all next summer. I met on the K&A. It's just, I don't need family. I don't really, and I do have friends come from home. This year's been pretty busy from people at home coming for a visit. I had so many people when I first started this, completely blown away, first off, that this even existed, and that I would suddenly just leave and do it. They were shocked that I was making such a big change, in a good way. That a lot of them are kind of keen to give it a try, and so far everyone's loved it. Last year I did the Kennet Naven from Reading to Bath and back, or Bath if you're down south. And then I went up through Oxford and Warwick, and then down to Stratford, and then due to an issue I had to get back home early last year, so I took the boat quickly across the country to near Market Harbour, a marina over there that does dry land storage. And then this year I went up through Leicester and across to the Shropshire Union, and I've been over here for most of I've done the Calden and the Peak Forest and all that kind of stuff. I think without a doubt that my favorite place has been the Glengauchlan, the Llangollen, or whatever you want to call it. The canal, the Shropshire Union in general, is really well maintained, and they've got picnic tables and barbecue stands and 48-hour moorings with rings all over the place. It's just so easy. The main Shroppy has this shelf that's a bit of a pain for me because I do hit it. So I have to find a spot that's not got that. That's a little concrete thing that boats bump into underwater. Nobody knows why it's there, but it's there. The Llangollen doesn't have that, or at least I haven't run into it. And I've been up there for probably a couple of months this summer with the visitors that I've had, because it's really, really good spot to show them everything that the canals have to offer. There's a couple of locks, well, a few locks if you come further down. There's a couple of aqueducts and bridges and tunnels, and there's the Chirk Castle, and just a ton of things to see and do, a few pubs. For the most part, it's just the best piece of canal I've ever been on. Loved it. Didn't want to leave.
A big thanks to Doug for sharing his story with us and opening up his home. And also, don't forget, check out his blog, Cannock on the Cut. Very interesting read.
Been a pleasure.